Black holes. You've probably heard about that word sometime in your life before, but what actually are they? How are they formed? Well, in this video, we are going to know what they are and how they are formed. My name is Aryan Kumar, and this is Theoritize. Well, in order to know what black holes are, we first need to know what gravity is. Well, you may think that gravity is a force pulling one object close to another, but Einstein doesn't say so. He says that gravity is the curvature of something we call space time. Well, what is space time, you may ask? Well, space and time are not separate things. Einstein says they are the same. And massive stars actually warp this fabric around them. Well, let us see how. For example, let's take a trampoline and we add a bowling ball in the center. What would happen? The trampoline will bend down. Now, let's add smaller balls around it. Now, what would happen? These smaller balls are going to naturally flow towards the bowling ball. Why is this? Is this because the bowling ball is pulling them? No, not exactly. The thing is that the path these smaller balls are going through are curved towards the bowling ball because it has already curved it more than the balls did, which is why the smaller balls flow towards the bowling ball. Now, let's take this as an example for the solar system. Let's take the sun. It wraps the space-time tremendously since it has large mass. Now, let's take Earth. What would happen? Since the path is curved, the Earth will start to go towards the Sun. Now, is this because the Sun was pulling it? No, no, no. This is because the Earth's path was simply just towards the Sun. Now, that's basically how gravity works, according to Einstein, and it is one of the most leading theory of gravity till date. Why does light get trapped around a black hole? Well, in order to know this, we need to know something known as escape velocity. Well, escape velocity is basically the speed needed to leave an object's gravitational pull. Now, rockets need to reach the escape velocity in order to leave the Earth. Now, let's say the object keeps getting denser and denser. The escape velocity will keep on going up and up till the point it exceeds the speed of light. Now, that's the problem. Nothing can go faster than the speed of light. And the stranger thing here is that once it goes that limit, every single direction the light can go to is curving inwards. Let's say you want to go from the first floor to the ground floor, but when you take the stairs down, you reach the first floor again. That's exactly what's happening to the light. It goes to every possible path, but it goes again inward. Around every black hole exists a boundary known as the event horizon. It is basically the point of no return. Nothing escapes this boundary once you go past it. Not matter, not even any signals, not even light escapes this. Now, if you were to watch a person falling into a black hole, things would probably appear stranger because, according to relativity, the stronger the gravity is, the slower time will run in that place. Now, the thing is, when you will see the person fall, they would start going slower and slower till a point they would almost look like they are frozen in time. Now, at the center of a black hole lies perhaps the strangest thing of all. It is called the singularity. Well, according to our current equations, all the mass is compressed into such a tiny point, the density becomes infinite. This is the part where physics starts to break down. Well, all our theories stop working properly, math equations start giving infinities, and scientists still don't know what's in the singularity. Well, this raises an even bigger question. How does something like this even form in the first place? How does a star collapse so violently that even space time starts caving inwards? To answer that, let's look at how stars die.
Well, in order to understand how black holes are formed, we first need to understand stars. Stars aren't just giant balls of fire. They are a constant battle between two forces, 6, 7. And now what those two forces are? They are gravity and pressure. Gravity is always trying to push the star inward, while on the other hand, star is producing enormous amount of energy, and that energy creates an outward pressure against gravity. As long as these two forces stay balanced, the star survives. Inside a star, the hydrogen atom constantly fuse together to form helium. This process releases huge amount of energy. And you may ask what this process is? So this is nuclear fusion. In fact, the sunlight reaching the Earth's surface only exists because of the fusion happening inside the sun's core. But, not all stars are the same. Some stars are far more huger than the sun. And these stars run out of their fuel much earlier. Well, the shorter they live, the far more violently they die. Eventually, the star begins running out of its fuel. The fusion slows down, the outward pressure weakens, and gravity, which has been constantly trying to crush the star inward, finally starts winning. At this point, the core of the star begins collapsing under its own gravity incredibly fast, and this process is unimaginably violent, and the core of the star starts collapsing more and more under its own gravity. Meanwhile, the outer layer of the star explodes outward in a massive supernova explosion. For a short period of time, this explosion can outshine even galaxies. But even after all this, the core still remains, and whatever happens next mainly depends on the star's mass. Well, if the star's core is massive enough, it forms something called a neutron star. A neutron star is already dense enough. Well, if the star's core is massive enough, it keeps getting crushed further and further by gravity. At a point, nothing can stop the collapse anymore. Not even atoms, not even neutron pressure, nothing. The gravity keeps crushing it further and further into a smaller region. Eventually, the gravity becomes so extreme that the escape velocity exceeds the speed of light. And even when light cannot escape, boom, a black hole is formed. So, this is how a black hole is formed. This is how singularity comes into existence. This is how event horizon is formed. But that is even a bigger question. What singularity even is? Why do physicists say that black holes break our current understanding of physics? Well, in order to know that, stay tuned and thanks for watching.